Is the American dream of homeownership slipping through our fingers? Whether real estate will ever be affordable again in the United States, with predictions of home prices to rise by a whopping 6.5% more on top of current rates, it's a pressing concern affecting millions of potential homeowners. As property prices continue to soar and wages struggle to keep up, affordable housing seems incredibly elusive. Hey everyone, welcome to our channel. In today's video, we will explore, will there be a time again where real estate will be affordable in the USA? But before we start, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. The state of real estate and housing in the United States continues to fizzle, which is forcing people to question. On one hand, there's a robust demand for homes, fueling bidding wars and subsequently pushing up property values. On the flip side, this heightened demand exacerbates an already existing scarcity of available homes. This market imbalance, where bidding wars are the norm and property values are skyrocketing, making homes out of reach for average Americans. As per the reports of the National Association of Realtors, NAR, the market for existing homes saw a decline of 2.2% in July 2023. Simultaneously, the inventory of unsold homes rose to 1.11 million units by the end of that month, showing a 3.7% increase compared to June. To add another layer of complexity, the average interest rate for a 30-year fixed mortgage escalated to 7.09% as of August 17th, indicating a notable year-over-year surge. The changing landscape of American homeownership. Let's journey back to the 19th century, when the dream of owning a home seemed almost unattainable for most people. Accumulating the significant capital needed for such a purchase took work, and traditional banks were generally reluctant to offer loans to commoners. However, the landscape began to shift with the stabilization of the American banking system, thanks to the National Bank Acts of the 1860s. This crucial legislative change opened the door for banks to enter the mortgage business. By the close of the 19th century, mortgages had become increasingly common, revolutionizing the concept of home ownership in America. Fast forward to the 1930s, a decade marked by the Great Depression. The U.S. government sought the assistance of the Homeowners Loan Corporation to address the housing crisis. In 1934, the Federal Housing Administration was established, and 4 years later, the Federal National Mortgage Association, commonly known as Fannie Mae, was introduced. These organizations collaborated to mitigate the effects of the housing crash and elevate the levels of home ownership in the country. From the 1970s to 1995, the rate of home ownership in the U.S. remained relatively stable, averaging around 64%. However, this rate saw a significant uptick, reaching nearly 70% by 2005. During this time, house prices escalated to 3 to 4 times the average annual income. The ratio of house prices to income in the U.S. reached an astonishing 5.11, far exceeding traditional benchmarks. After peaking in the mid-2000s, the home ownership rate began to decline, eventually stabilizing around its historical average of 64% by 2015. The 2 decades from 1995 to 2015 were characterized by major financial shifts impacting the real estate market, especially in credit access and transaction costs. The years leading up to the housing boom were marked by relaxed credit standards, while the following decade, marred by the housing crash and global financial crisis, saw a tightening of these conditions. But what are the factors that affect the prices of the housing market? Let's try to understand each of them in detail. Factors driving up real estate prices. The escalating cost of real estate in the United States has been fueled by a complex interplay of factors, making home ownership increasingly out of reach for many aspiring buyers. 1. The supply-demand imbalance. A key driver of skyrocketing property prices is the imbalance between supply and demand. According to the National Association of Realtors, there was only a 3.3-month supply of homes available for sale as of July 2023. This scarcity of options restricts buyer choices and makes a market crash in property prices unlikely in the near term. In urban areas, jobs, opportunities, and essential amenities make people willing to pay a premium for convenient locations. As companies look for office space and individuals hunt for homes, the widening gap between supply and demand pushes prices upwards, making housing less accessible for a broad population. While there are regions in the U.S. that offer more affordable housing options, they often come at the cost of fewer job opportunities. High-demand cities like San Francisco, New York, and Washington, D.C. exemplify this trend of limited supply and inflated prices. 2. Builder constraints and market dynamics. The construction industry has been cautious since the 2008 financial crisis, leading to an insufficient building pace to meet current demand. Regulatory hurdles and land acquisition challenges have made it difficult for builders to respond quickly to the surging market. Greg McBride, CFA and Bankrate's chief financial analyst notes, the root cause of soaring prices is a surge in demand coupled with a supply shortfall. Balancing this equation won't happen overnight. The cautious approach by builders, especially smaller ones who have struggled since the last recession, has led to market concentration among a few large developers. This concentration often results in a strategic supply limitation to maintain high prices. Federal scrutiny is needed to address market concentration and potential anti-competitive practices among large home-building firms. 3. Influence of zoning rules and regulatory framework. Local governments often set guidelines on what to build based on areas and their population. While these rules aim to manage urban pollution, they constrict the housing supply. Factors like zoning constraints, local political processes, and limited available land contribute to the scarcity of affordable homes. 4. Mortgage availability. The housing crisis has far-reaching economic consequences, affecting everything from labor mobility and wealth distribution to macroeconomic indicators, given that housing is a significant component of the GDP. In the housing boom from 1995 to 2005, banks were liberal with mortgage lending, often requiring minimal down payments and offering loans with high income-to-debt ratios. This opened the floodgates for more buyers, driving up demand. However, the 2008 financial crisis led to a liquidity crunch, forcing banks to adopt stricter lending standards and pushing mortgage rates higher, thereby affecting housing affordability. 5. Shifts in urban and suburban dynamics. The resilience of the housing market in 2021 can be attributed mainly to changing preferences in living spaces and locations. People are increasingly looking for larger homes and are willing to move to urban centers to find them. This migration pattern puts pressure on suburban areas, leading to increased maintenance costs and reduced tax bases for adjacent cities. The demand for homes is robust across various demographic groups, including millennials, who are in their peak home buying years, and the growing Hispanic population. 6. Changing buyer demographics. Millennials, dealing with big income gaps, are now the fastest growing group of home buyers. They're also buying more expensive homes than previous generations did. However, the percentage of millennial home buyers dropped from 43% in 2021 to 28% in 2022. 7. Impact of foreign investment. A recent study by the National Association of Realtors, NAR, highlights the significant role of foreign investors in exacerbating the U.S. housing shortage and affordability issues. According to the report, between April 2021 and March 2022, foreign investors, predominantly from China and Canada, poured an impressive $59 billion into the U.S. residential real estate market. After examining the various factors fueling the surge in U.S. housing prices, does the housing market crisis have implications for the broader economy? What do you think? Let's find out. First-time buyers struggle. A study from Harvard says about 2.4 million people who want to buy a home can't afford it. In 2021, you must make at least $67,000 yearly to afford a home in most cities. By January 2022, fewer homes were sold than before, making it even harder to buy a home. According to CoreLogic, home prices are expected to keep going up. In March 2023, they were 3.1% higher than last year. They're expected to rise another 4.3% by June 2024. Also, there are 26% fewer new homes being listed for sale compared to last year. Zillow's report also expects home prices to keep rising, but more slowly than before. They predict a 6.5% increase in the next year, which is a lot less than the 16.9% jump we saw in 2021. They think prices will increase by about 3 to 4% each year for the next few years. The low number of homes for sale will likely keep pushing prices higher. So, is there a light at the end of the tunnel for affordable housing in America? The answer is complicated and entangled with economic, social, and political variables. Whether it's policy changes, market adjustments, or shifts in how people buy homes, multiple factors could make housing more affordable. But unless substantial steps are taken, the aspiration for affordable home ownership might remain out of reach for many. What do you think about the future of the U.S. housing market? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. To sum it up, the issue of affordable housing isn't just an economic puzzle. It's a gateway to the quintessential American dream. As we made through this era of skyrocketing property prices and scarce housing options, the call for effective solutions is more pressing than ever. Whether through legislative action, shifts in the housing industry, or grassroots initiatives, the journey to make homes affordable must be a communal effort. If you liked the video, share it and hit that subscribe button to get more informative videos like these. While you are still here, click on the screen to learn more about the USA and its history. We will see you in the next one.